Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Humber's North Campus. I am so super excited meeting with all of you. Give me some noise. You excited to be here? Yay! Welcome. Hello. So thank you for coming all the way on a Friday evening when you would rather be outside. But today is a very special class. And as you'll see, this is typically how an employer engagement class happens. But because of COVID and post-pandemic and stuff, we haven't gone in person 100%. So this is a taste for all of you to see how much fun we actually can have together. As you all know, today's topic is learning about the art of networking at events. And what I mean by that is all of you have your collision tickets, and if you don't, I recommend you get them. You all will be going and seeing almost 30,000 people during your reading week. So I want to teach you the art of networking, but sometimes it comes better when your peers tell you their own story and how this networking helped them start their careers. So without further ado, everybody knows Sachin, right? Let's give him a round of applause, guys.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right, cool, thanks. Do I stand or?
You have to keep it close because you're being recorded over there. So the mic
I guess
is
I'll
close.
stand.
Your choice.
I don't like sitting in front. All right, thank you guys for having me. Just to give a quick introduction, my name is Sachin.
And my name is Sachin.
And I graduated from the same course, ITS, back in August last year. And since then it's been a great journey for me, especially directly from like an international student to getting into the Canadian tech industry. It was a huge leap, having no prior experience. But yeah, it's been a really great journey, and of course ITS has helped throughout the journey for me. To give a quick overview about my background, I completed my bachelor's back in India, and soon, almost like in a year, I traveled to Canada for this course. In my capstone project in the last semester, I worked with PACT. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. As far as I know, they haven't really come back this semester to give a project, but yeah, you can check it out. It's a really good company. It's very synonymous to DocuSign. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. So we did a capstone project with them. And soon after I graduated, I started off with Bank of Montreal, where I work as a backend application developer. And I mainly work with Node.js, TypeScript, AWS, and that is one thing that I really want to focus on, that you always learn something totally different that you have not learned in this course, and that becomes one of the most important characteristics of your job, right? For me, that was cloud. I had no experience with that. I had to learn AWS right from scratch. I had to go through the documentation, dig deep. Like I literally slept in, piled up an AWS documentation for weeks to just understand it. And just so that this panel gives you, their experience, they share their experience. I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it, but please focus on all the aspects, I would say, that are really necessary to get the job. And I guess that would really help you get ahead of the crowd very soon. I know how difficult the job market is. I mean, we can't really predict anything as of now, but just a small suggestion is that this is the time where you actually work on your skills, you finish them, right? It's rather than sitting and worrying about if you will get a job or not, I would suggest you work on your skills, you get certifications. That's what I usually talk about whenever I come to Professor Meena's lectures. Certifications really create an impact, be it with recruiters, hiring managers, improving your online presence, be it LinkedIn profiles, your portfolios. So please get certifications, be it any certification, project management, AWS, Azure, Microsoft, anything. Apart from that, I guess the main thing that we're talking about is networking. So I really would like to mention a few pointers about Collision because, of course, it is one of the biggest events that we have in North America. And I guess Lucky and I have almost attended those events together, and he'll, of course, talk a bit more in detail about them. But just to give a quick overview about my experience with Collision, you meet so many new people. And the potential of increasing your reach is like exponential. So I suggest that you, if you have not already, just update your LinkedIn profiles, get your portfolios up and running, because you will meet with so many new people, so many different people, and you never know if there is a potential employer amongst them, right? Because there are a lot of startups at Collision. They are seeking fundings and investment opportunities from investors, right? So you never know if there is an employer who would actually take you up and look you up after the event as well. So please do that, and if there are any third semester students here, you can get a prospective capstone sponsor from the Collision audience as well. So I guess apart from Collision, I would say AWS Toronto, Summit Toronto is again a very big event to attend. If you have not already registered, it's again a free event, so please do that. It's also in the very similar week as Collision. I guess it's before Collision if I'm not wrong, but yeah. So please do look it up if you haven't already. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I guess we have some time for questions at the end. Yeah, so I'll pass it on to Lucky then.
Thank you so much, Sachin. Yeah, so I think Sachin has set the bar so high. I don't know how I'm going to beat that bar. Hi everyone, my name is Lucky Oshobi, and like Sachin, I also work at BMO as a software developer. I think we work in a similar space. We both work on the treasury and payment solutions, and I personally work on non-wire payments. So I specialize in Interact. So each time you're using your BMO app to send money or anything, just not exactly, but yeah. So honestly, I don't know what to say. So like most of you, I was a student in Humber College, and I studied computer programming, which is the diploma version of ITS, I believe. So during the course of the program, I definitely learned a lot, most of the skills which I was able to utilize. And when it comes to networking, I believe networking is really the key to success, and I'm a very perfect testimony of what networking can do. I would say my current job at BMO right now is as a source of networking. It might not be directly, but definitely it is one of the ingredients that got me here. And just a quick story, just a quick story. So me being at BMO today, I would let you know that this particular role, I didn't apply for it. The role I applied to, which was months before, I did the interview, I received no response from it. Like, most people would have done the same and just forgot about, did not send any message to me, or like, there's no response from this, or it is a bad news or something. But I did the opposite of what most people would do. What I did was, I did virtual networking. I went back to the email that sent the virtual interview link, which was one of our hiring managers, Lisa Navarra. I went back to the email, I copied her name, I went back to LinkedIn. I pasted her name on the LinkedIn search, I connected immediately with her. And I think about 2 days later, she accepted my request. And I reached out to her, I was like, hi Lisa, my name is Lucky. I'm a current student of this. I applied to this particular role, but I've not received any response from BMO. Is there any reason why? And she was like, oh, Lucky, we received your interview. However, there was a different candidate who was more competitive than I was. You understand? So, and that's something important you need to know. There's always someone that is going to be better than you, but that doesn't mean you should give up on things. So I was like, that's totally fine. However, I'm always available for any opportunity in the future. You understand? So we begin to discuss further. I properly introduced myself. I got to network virtually. She got to know who I am. She got to know the kind of skills I possess. And I think a few weeks from that conversation, she reached out to me. She was like, oh, Bimo is having a marathon interview on June 12th last year. Like, make sure to register. This is the link to register. You understand? And successfully I registered, successfully I qualified for the interview, and the rest is history. So imagine if I had not taken the extra step to reach out, or imagine if without getting any response, I just gave up on it and saying, oh, I'll just apply for a new one. There's a high chance I wouldn't be here today, definitely. You understand? So just lend any chance you have to reach out, any chance you have to network with people, any chance you have to introduce yourself to people. Take that chance each time and make sure to leave a good impression where the person can trust you enough to send you a link to apply for a job you never applied to. You understand? So definitely, I look forward to learning more from you, and I look forward to sharing more of my knowledge, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucky. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, perfect. My name is Khushpreet Kaur Gulati. You can call me Khushi, I know that's a long name. And currently I'm at the TD Bank working as a business analyst, and it's been almost 6 months to me right now. And before that I've also worked as a technical support specialist at SOTI and as a software developer at BMO in a matter of 7 months. Plus, I was able to give 15 interviews, which I will tell you guys, my golden tip of networking, and I'm sure it's going to work for all of you as well. I remember, like most of you, 2 years ago I came to Canada, and I was so nervous and excited at the same time that arriving in a new country, embarking on a new journey. And I think the most difficult thing that I faced was just difficulty in networking. But again, I got good mentors and a group of community of international students that helped me grow as well. And that is why I'm here today to help each one of you achieve what I achieved. That's just a little bit about myself, and again, I'm going to tell you guys more in the next questions that we have. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to see you all. Just smile. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you hear? I am Vishal Gami, and I'm currently working in BEL right now as a software developer. My specialization in Python. I create automation scripts. So talking about my journey, I did my bachelor's in computer engineering past in India, and then after I moved to Canada like 2 years back, 1.5 years or 2 years back. I did my graduation from Humber and expand my skills, learn so many subjects under Meena and other professors too. I was fortunate enough to get a capstone project under the Big Leaf, and fortunate enough that we all three were working under the same project and same employer. They are the BEL. And so after that, I started applying for the job in August 2022. I applied 500 applications. From that, I got 4 of the interview, and from which I got 1 of the offer letter, that is BEL. So yeah, I would say never stop. Apply, do networking. Networking plays an important role. Post in LinkedIn, expand your skills, and it will help you more to get a job. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Yash, and I did my bachelor's in computer engineering from India, and then I came to Canada and I did my post-graduation from ITS. As Vishal told, we all did a capstone in the same company, Big Leaf, and that's the place where I learned about how feedback is important, because we can reach out to people multiple times, but we apply for lots of applications, but we never get a feedback. So that's how we reach out to the same recruiter again and say, hey, can you please give me a constructive feedback that can be helpful for me so I can improve myself. And that's what helped me to get a job in BEL too. And one more thing that I would say, build a network that helps you to grow together. Because we created a group in a LinkedIn together, because we generally create a group in WhatsApp and all to, like create a different events and all. But we created a group in LinkedIn, and each of one posts the same different job applications that we are applying. So suppose one friend apply for 10 jobs, by 4 it goes to 40. And that's how we all are applying in the same job, and that's how we got a job in the same company, just a different team. So I would say build a network that helps you to grow together and reach out to as much as people you can, and just be open to ready whatever comes in your way. Because when I get a job, I'm working as a software developer in Bell, but I never worked on a stack that I'm working right now. I learned that stack like almost when I was doing a bachelor's, but right now I'm working on it. And that's the main project that I got. So just focus on the logic and focus on the things that you are doing, build your network, and yeah, keep trying. That's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Namrata Kaur. First of all, I want to thank Meena ma'am for creating this event and inviting me here. I'm so glad to be part of this. Thank you so much, ma'am. So currently I'm working as a full stack developer at Bell Canada. These two, Yash and Vishal, was part of my capstone project. So we three are now part of Bell Canada. So I'm very glad to have my team working with the same employer. So I have 6+ years of experience previously from India, and right now what I'm working is not completely related to my experience. It is something new. I'm working into databases like managing servers, building web applications. So this is a very good opportunity for me to learn new things. I'm involved into backend and frontend, both the teams. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so my current role includes backend and frontend, managing applications, developing web applications, and also managing the Bell servers. So this is completely new. My story is kind of similar to Lucky's story. I did not apply for this role, but I had applied for some other position in Bell. So one of the recruiters suggested my resume to the hiring manager for this role, and that manager directly reached out to me on my LinkedIn and asked me if I'm interested for this role and if I can come for the interview. So I accepted it, even though it was not completely my profile, but I just thought to give a chance and see how it is. So that's how I got into this position, and this is the thing which I tell to everyone, that don't get disappointed if you are not getting something what you want, because there are some things which are waiting for you where you can learn, not specifically what you are looking, but maybe better than that. So go and explore all the opportunities and keep yourself open, because you never know what best is waiting for you, right? So that is what I learned, and I really hope to share more experiences with you all. That was about my journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. This is a little bit of a teaser of how you guys started. And let's talk about the art of networking, specifically around events. I know that all of you have gone to events. You are hosting events, you're participating in events. So what would you suggest? 1 or 2 tips that they, either looking for capstones, looking for connections, going to events, looking for jobs, what would you suggest that they should do in order to prepare themselves for, let's say, collision? So, if I can ask each of you to give 1 or 2 tips, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Sure. Right. So as I said earlier, whenever there's a networking event, especially at the scale like Collision or AWS Summit, you know that there are probably thousands of people coming there, right? So, as I said, the very first thing for you to do is to get your profiles, your resumes, your portfolios updated to the latest experience that you have. For those students who do not have any prior experience, they often have this question that what should we put on the resume as an experience, right? We don't have anything like to put as industry experience especially. So what I did during my time with Collision or even while applying to jobs, the experience section especially you can cover with your capstone projects, right? That is as good as your industry experience. And apart from that, I suggest that you start, if already not, then you start working on some side projects, right? Some good side projects that you can actually cite on your resumes. You can talk about it in your interviews. That really helps you to play at your strengths, right? You don't really want to give that's what I feel. You don't really want to give the interviewer a chance to ask you something that's not your strong suit, right? So I would suggest do that first. And the networking event is all about networking, right? So try to get in touch with people, approach them, engage with as many people as possible. Get your LinkedIn connections. I think Collision has their separate thing with the QR code, but again, you can always get LinkedIn connections over there as well. And yeah, always the core of a networking event is networking, is what I believe, right? So you have to approach people, you have to connect with them with as much people as possible. Yeah.
Thank you, Sachin.
Thank you so much, Sachin, for that. So, in addition to what he says regarding projects, because I mean, unlike most of you, this is my first degree per se, so I don't have the luxury of experience per se. So, what I did in order to qualify for my experiences was to have a lot of projects. And what I did was during my classes with Professor Visual and every other professor. So what I did was I made sure all the assignments you have been given, I did it to production standard. Like I put in a lot of time creating those assignments. The strategy to that is I'm going to put those assignments on my resume. I'm sorry for that. So most of the assignment I did, I make sure to do it as perfect as I can. So every chance I had to build something, either for Java, either for C#, either for any course I was doing at that time, I make sure to do it as best as I can so I can add them on my resume. So just keep that at the back of your mind. The next time you're giving an assignment, the next time you're building anything, make sure to build it as much as you can. Build it like as if you're not submitting it to your professor. Build it like as if you're submitting it to Google to approve it for you. So yeah, that's on that. So when it comes to networking, like Sachin mentioned, I've been in different networking events, and as of last year, I think I was counting towards 15 or different events like that. One thing that I believe helps most time is how much you can connect with someone. And you will be surprised that to connect with people, it takes little than what you're thinking about. Definitely, number one, you need to work on your mindset, because if you think you can't do it, definitely you won't be able to do it. So the first thing to do is to clear your head and know you being at that particular event, you're definitely worthy of anything, or you're definitely worthy to speak with anybody. I know some people feel imposter syndrome, saying, oh, I can't be at Collision, or I'm at Collision, I can't speak with this particular person because he's the CEO of a multi-billion company, or like, I don't know what to say because he's the chief technology officer of RBC or TD or anything. The first thing you definitely need to do, again, clear your mindsets. Know that the fact that you're in the same event as they are, they will be ready to give you the same honor and the same respect as the event is. Understand that Collision Conference definitely is not an event for anybody. The ticket price alone is $800 plus, up to $12,000 for the ticket. Definitely, they know the quality of people attending the event is not just anybody. Even though you got a free ticket into the event, definitely you have something special that means you deserve to be there. So first thing, make sure to tweak your mindset. Make sure, don't think of yourself as less. Think yourself as you understand, the real deal, the odds deal. when you have that clear, the next thing to do is to learn how to properly make conversations with people. Most people I connect with, most executives I connect with, most times I don't connect with people on professional matters. I don't connect with people based on how smart I am at school or based on my experience or anything at all. I try to connect with people based on general phenomena of things. Because you'll be surprised that you approach someone and you're like, hi, my name is Lucky, what's your name? And like, they're like, oh, my name is this, and you're like, oh, so what do you do, where do you work from? And they're like, oh, I work at RBC, I work at TD Bank. And like, oh, nice, that's good, so what do you do at TD Bank? You understand? So you asking them questions, not based on yourself, not based on, oh, I need a job or I need something, you just asking those questions and just making them feel comfortable enough to talk about themselves and to share about their story. They will remember you more when time comes because they'll be like, oh, that's the guy that met with me and we talked very much and like they're able to share their experience so far. So when you're approaching networking most times, there are two things to it. Definitely, I mean, I'm messing up the skill. There are several processes to it. So first process definitely is your mindset. Second process definitely is scan your environment and definitely know who you're talking to. So when you're approaching someone, you understand, you introduce yourself, my name is Lucky, I'm this, I'm that. Then you make conversation based on the other person. You understand? You don't make conversation based on yourself. Because one thing I've come to observe for a long time is most people love talking about themselves. So give them the opportunity to talk about themselves, honestly. Because you'll be surprised that the more people talk about themselves, you ask them about their job, you ask them about their role, you ask them about the things they're doing, the challenges they're facing at work, or like how different things like that. The more you ask those questions, they'll feel comfortable enough to talk to you. And you'll be surprised that times after that, when you go back to them, they'll be ready to help you because they believe they have connected with you. They believe there's somewhere where both of you merge together. Understand? So when meeting with people, you don't want to make your first time meeting about yourself. You don't want to like tell them about all the problems you're having in terms of applying for a job. You don't want to explain to them that you've applied to over 500 jobs but nobody has responded to you. No. You just want to make conversations based on them and definitely make sure to make the conversation as comfortable as possible. Make sure to smile, make sure to relate to them, make sure to definitely have the right body language. Thank you so much.
Kushi, I just want to pitch in a little bit. Thank you, Lucky. That was amazing. You gave all the tips right now. What are you going to do later? You know, Lucky has a lot of tips. So if those of you are not following Lucky, please follow him. And I'm like advocating for Lucky. He goes and he has a selfie literally with almost everybody. And next selfie I'm thinking will be with Obama. Amen. Well, as I told you all a little earlier, that we may have surprise visitors here. So let's give a big hand to an alumni, great graduate from 2015? 18. Okay, so feels a long time. So everybody, this is Fabian Fernandez. He is stopped by just to say hello and he has a surprise for all of you. So Fabian, over to you.
Hi. I can't do this formal thing. I'm really bad at speaking to people. I hope you all don't mind. So I'm going to put away this mic. Can you all hear me?
No, it's been recording, so...
Oh no. She has to put me on the spot,
Yes.
doesn't she?
Yes.
So basically, my company I work with, Reshift Media, they're looking for developers right now. So they're looking for something with Angular in the front end and Node.js in the back end. And also application, if you'll have mobile app and iOS experience, Swift or otherwise. I'm not going to go into all the technical details because I don't want to bore you all. But then if you'll have some experience relating to this, then do send the details to Meena and then she'll forward it to me. Or y'all can follow me directly on LinkedIn, which
I will forward it to you.
yes, that works. So yeah. But yeah, this is a really nice turnout, and it is really nice seeing y'all. Hopefully, some of y'all can come work with me in Reshift. And thank you.
Thank you. So, my first memory of Fabian was walking to our class with him, and he introduced himself. And it was right after the long weekend, and he tells me that the entire long weekend he was exploring all of Toronto. So I'm like, I haven't done that, but he's done that already. He knew more places in a weekend than I did in 20 years. So that was my experience, first time meeting Fabian in 2017. So let's hear from Fabian very quickly, how he started his career, how he's graduated, and then he's going to go.
Yeah, so I started up, so I had worked back home, so I had a little bit of leverage, I won't say, but then I came up to Canada, I studied a one-year course. It's quite daunting actually, because when you do a one-year course, you kind of wonder, are you going to get that one-year experience, and are you going to get and convert into that PR, and then are you going to get citizenship and all that stuff? I don't know how much is relevant to all the different people here. Sorry. But yeah, so it's daunting, definitely. And I started up like that. I had a one-year course. As soon as it's, like when it was done, the first thing in my mind, even when by the end of the course, 2 months out, when I was finishing up my course, the first thing, my goal was I need to get a job. And that's why I was connected with Meena, and I was like, okay, Meena, do you have anything? And then I reached out to all my different contacts. And my first job here was at Humber College. So I worked in Humber marketing department as a website developer, and that was a great privilege for me. After studying here at Humber itself, I worked for 6 months here on a contract, and then I moved out. So it's been like a little scary from the start, because a one-year course is always scary, and then you're like wondering, right? And then from that to convert 1 year of work permit, and then this. So I don't know how much of this is relevant. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. I'm not prepared for this. Yeah, so keep up whatever you all are doing. You all are going to do great. I'm pretty sure some of you all are already there. I can see some familiar faces, I don't know. But this is great. And then things work out. It's just a matter of time. As an international student coming in and doing a one-year course, and now I've been working since the last 5 years in Canada for more than, I don't know, 8, 9 companies in Canada already. So it gets challenging at the start. Through COVID, it was crazy. So yeah, one of my companies even shut down during COVID. And then I went full-time in another company, which I was working as part-time. So it's always been tricky, but the thing is, what's important is, at the end of the day, don't lose your hope. Things just turn out, and always look for the dawn, the silver lining. It always comes in. And Meena is one of the best people for that. She will tell you like exactly what you need to do. Get up in the morning, apply for 5 jobs, then enjoy the rest of your day. If you keep looking for that job for the whole day, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. So it's better to just do those 5 jobs in the morning, set yourself up for the day, plan your day, do everything else. Look out for the responses. Don't leave it aside. Okay? Yeah, look for those responses as well. But pace yourself. Look at jobs which are the most relevant to you. Don't apply on everything, because we tend to do that sometimes, because we need a job. But apply to what's most relevant to you. Use all the tips that Meena gives you, make it most relevant to your resumes and stuff. And that will definitely help you. People actually, when they're screening through resumes, they look for the duties and stuff. If those match in, that's when your HR actually picks your resume. So unless those actually match in, they're not even gonna, you're not gonna go past the first round. So that's the first screening process. and that's easy to get in if you like look at those points and just do it as Meena says. I always come back to Meena says, right?
It's always my fault, right?
Yeah. No, she's like the best guide I've ever seen. Like whatever she says actually really works. There was this one point where I had so many people that were contacting me and I'm like, I don't require a job, you know what? I'll send it to Meena. And Meena ma'am was like, oh, are you like recruiting now? No, I'm not really doing that, but they're just sending me job offers, so I'm like, I'll send them by you so that you can refer someone else. But either ways, stay strong, do what you're doing. If there's anyone who has previous Angular and Node.js experience, do get in touch. Like, we'll see how that goes. Okay? Yep.
It's just me, you know. But thank you so much. Congratulations again on your new home. See, 5 years, new home already. So big round of applause. Thank you. So this is Fabian Fernandez. Anybody looking for work or not, connect with him because you know he's always getting jobs. Thank you, Fabian. See? Irrelevant jobs too. That's okay, it works too.
Yeah.
Thanks, darling. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Okay, so let's get back to the panel. This was amazing. Like I said, we're all full of surprises. So Khushi is going to share some really cool tips. And Khushi was one of them that actually did not go to Collision, she just told me. But then she ended up going other places and connecting with others. So over to Khushi. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm so excited to tell you all. Okay, before I started to apply, of course, get your resume and everything. I think Lucky and Sachin have already told you about that, but I'll just give you something more apart from that. Meena ma'am, and I'm not sure if you know Payal Angra, she taught me Java. So she gave me this tip, and even Meena ma'am just sort of told me about this as well. If I want to work in RBC, let's say, or BMO, or TD, any other bank, any other company, just go on LinkedIn, in the search list, write 20 just write RBC recruiters, BMO recruiters, SOT recruiters, and the first 20 to 30 list, connect with all of the recruiters. All of them, just send them a connection request with a small message saying I'm doing my postgrad at Humber College and I've applied at so-and-so position at your company. It would be amazing if you would just discuss some of my experience, if any of the openings you have. Just cater your message a little bit, of course, but that's the trick. I promise you, out of those 30, at least one will reply back and your application will go noticed. My applications have never gone, I don't think so, I've gone through the ATS, I'm pretty sure. But through this method, it actually got me so many interviews, almost 15 to 16 interviews I've given in a matter of 3 to 4 months. And it's not a joke, it actually works. Also, for BMO, I attended this networking event. I've only got my jobs through networking events. I've never actually, like I just said, my application never really went noticed that way. But through the networking event, I attended BMO's virtual event, and Meena ma'am told me this was her idea. Like whenever you attend an event, take screenshots. If it's a virtual event, of course, just take screenshots of the event. After the event, you have the panelist list. All the recruiters will come in your screenshot. Post that screenshot on LinkedIn, take the recruiter's name, tag them, and also apart from this, your post is gonna go way far. Your profile, your post, it's gonna reach at a certain point that's gonna help your application go further. Also on your LinkedIn, take the recruiters' names, message them personally. I've applied for all of these jobs. Please, if anything that you think I might be a good fit for, I would love to have a conversation with you. Just, it takes effort, of course it does, but I promise you, do not lose hope. All of us are going to just tell you that this is one tip that has worked for me, and I promise you it will work for you guys as well. Just give it a try. And in the next round again, I'll tell you all something more. I'll just forward it to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kushpreet. So for me also, I didn't attend the coalition, but one of the tip I would say, like, I was doing 500 application at that time. What I do, I go to LinkedIn, I connect with all the recruiters. I drop a small message with the introduction of myself, with the work, with the projects which I did, and I always keep up to date, like GitHub, all the projects which I did, because I don't have any past experience. So I always showcase my capstone project and all the projects I did during my academic experience. So every time I connect to the LinkedIn, at that time I always share my small introduction, and then after paste the link of the GitHub, my projects which are live, which are hosting. And to be honest, it plays a very important role, like at a part of networking. And after that also, like once I get interview, after that I get a feedback from the connection also. So if I talk, for example, if I talk about the Bell, when I did my interview, it was like 3-hour interview. After that, I connect to one of the technical interviewer who did my interview, like half an hour. I got a feedback from her, and from a feedback, I got to know that I'll get a job offer from the Bell. So it plays an important role for me. So one of the tips which I would suggest is connect to the LinkedIn, each and every recruiter of each and every employer, and it plays an important role. Thank you.
I think there is a disadvantage of sitting at corner, you know. All the tips are already given and there is nothing left for us. But yeah, I would say the best thing is that you can reach out to the people and get your feedback from them. And also during the networking event, when you meet the people, just ask for what kind of operations they are doing or their team are doing. Because the benefits you can get from that is like you can get to know about the different operations different operations they are doing in different business unit. And you don't know in which business unit you will get an interview if you apply for that job. And that's the best thing because like if you know about the operations they are doing, you can say something as a preparation or research during the interview call, and that is really helpful because that's helpful for me too and in Bell, as I already worked in a big league for the feedback platform, and that's what I said, that the same constructive feedback thing to my Bell in my Bell interview too. And I said that okay, we can develop something like that in Bell, and that's how they got impressed and I got an offer letter from Bell. So yeah, I would say that try to learn about different operations they are doing and get to know about more and more in details. So that's the best way. Yeah, and that's all the things are just already told. Thank you.
Okay, so I think most of them, they have told everything, but I still have few points to tell you. If you are planning to attend any event, make sure you create a short elevator pitch, which highlights your skills, your knowledge, your projects which you have worked already. It should be very short. Short because if you are talking with someone, you introduce yourself. So in your introduction itself, you should tell them all about you. Like the person should know everything about you, your skills, your knowledge, your projects and everything. So if you're talking to a recruiter, for example, and they know that you have these skill sets, and if they have a position, if they have a requirement, they will have in the back of the mind that okay, yeah, this person can fit into this. So always before going to the event, create a elevator pitch which will tell about you. And when you are at the event, make sure you connect with as much people as you can. I would recommend it is not a waste of time, but try to utilize as much time as you can by connecting as many people as you can. So that if you are talking to 20 people will know you, your name. And if you're talking to any recruiter or manager or anyone who is working in that company, after coming from the event, try to connect with them on the LinkedIn and send a message with the connection that we met at this particular event on this day, and we met, I'm glad to meet you, and I would really like to know if there is any requirement or anything going on, because I'm looking for a job. So this is one of the good way which I learned, and I really wanted to tell you people that you should also apply this. It will be really helpful. Thank you.
So we learned a lot of tips that you should do at the event, pre and after. Did we miss out on anything? Yes, I think Kushi says that she has something else to add. She has a lot more to say. Okay, why don't you do a lot more and then we will ask Q&A. Okay, so over to Kushi.
Yes, one more thing. I just wanted to tell this to you all. I've cried a lot because I was not getting any job and I had lost all hopes even after doing everything. Like I used to cater my resume almost every day for the past 3 months before I graduated, like Feb, March, April. Every day, I'm not even joking, I used to apply so many jobs. I got interviews as well, but I just couldn't crack it for some reason, and that's okay. I kept getting rejected. I thought it's just me, I'm never going to be able to get through it. But rejection is always one step closer to what you're going to get. All the dots connected me to TD today. When I worked at SOTI, when I worked at BMO, everything connected, and that is why I got the job at TD. One thing I forgot to mention, if it's an in-person event, like the TD event that I attended, that was a women hackathon. So it was all women from various cultures, they came from various experiences, and it was like a round table conference. Like you could say all the companies were sitting, it was a round table, and we got 5 minutes each individually to go on a particular table, sit and talk, just for 5 minutes. Take your resumes. I know it's not it might not make a difference, but just carry your resume with you, because even if you have a connection and it's so good in the event, you can just give them your resume. Please have a look at it later on whenever. If you're hiring, please just have a look at it. That's something, again, that is how I got a job at TD. And my friend, she's working at TD as a software developer. Just after I got my job as a business analyst, she joined. I posted on LinkedIn and I tagged the recruiter, whoever helped me get the job. Now she worked so smartly is that she picked up the recruiter's name and she messaged the recruiter saying, of course, now she helped me get a job. She of course has other people, other roles as well that she's planning to give out. So just be very alert on LinkedIn. Follow people, follow your friends if they get a job and if they post something. Take the recruiter's name, message them on LinkedIn. You will get it, I promise you. You will, just don't lose hope. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, so additionally, when attending networking events, definitely there are several people in the networking events. One other skill you need to know is how to know who is who and who is not. It is not enough to just talk to people, it is enough to talk to people who matters, people who make decisions. So one thing I try to challenge myself with is, whenever I enter any room, I usually try to challenge myself to talk to the biggest person in the room before I leave that place. Be it the CEO of the company or the managing director, or like probably the panel session, if I attend the panel session events, probably the members of the panel session. What that does is, immediately it might not prompt you getting a job or anything, but definitely you are visible to the people who matters. Understand? For example, you meet with the VP of technology for RBC or the VP of, which I actually did during collision. So, like, you meet with such people, you introduce yourself, you have a very good conversation, like I said earlier, you ask them about their role, you're having good conversation. Like everybody has rightly said, after the event, you go back to LinkedIn, you're like, hi, so, we met at this event, it was really nice discussing with you. Based on, probably if you guys talked about a particular topic or a particular problem, refer back to that particular discussion, just to let them know that you are still thinking about what you talked about. Understand? So what that does is, they will feel more interested to further discuss with you. So it will be like a one-time discussion. So you have another chance to go back to them to continue your discussion. And what that does is now you're not more a stranger, you're a level ahead. Number two, now they can be confident in you when it ever comes to time for referral or when it ever comes to time for them to tell others about you. Understand? So in that sense, when you're not more a stranger, it is easy for you to tell them, oh, there's actually a position in your company. For example, if you speak with the VP of technology, I saw a developer's position, they are the one making the decisions. They can literally tell you, oh, this is the manager, I'm coming from you, you have the position. Understand? So learn to know when you enter a room, learn to study people, know this is what, this is not, and challenge yourself to talk with the best of the best. Thank you.
That was such a brilliant advice. Thank you. Learn to read the room. Who's who in the room, right? I remember his almost first post was the first day of Career Connections. And now I go to him and say, Lucky, can you please promote my post? And Lucky's only been gone a year. So what he's done with the power of networking is just absolutely brilliant. So I'm really, really proud of you, Lucky. Thank you so much for all those tips. And to all of you, amazing tips, guys. Thank you so much. So now we have this recorded. I have to summarize everything. Okay. Does anybody have any Q&As? Any questions? Yes.
I can come down.
Why don't you come down? You'll be faster than me.
My name is Jonathan. Thank you guys very much for coming out. Are your side projects focused on solving real-world business problems, or are they coming from like an academic point of view? Lucky or, sorry, your name again? Sachin. Yeah. I guess Lucky first and then Sachin too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, while I was looking for a job and building projects, I was definitely not focused on solving real world problems. My mindset or my thought process at that time is, how can I express my skill and how can I show that I possess the skill? Understand? Real world projects are fine definitely, but you also need to look at the timeline. You can't build a real world project in 2 weeks or in 3 months or in 1 month. If you really want to build a real world problem, it's something you need to devote your time, it's something you need to devote everything for. You understand? So depending on your view, for example, some people, not everybody wants to work a corporate job, not everybody wants to work a bank. Some people want to be a startup CEO, some people want to be an entrepreneur. If you decide you really want to pursue your dream in building products, in building things, definitely find a valuable cause to go after, find a valuable problem to solve, and you'll be surprised, even with networking, there will be huge success for you, because imagine having access to people who make decisions like venture capitalists and different people in that area. With the same skill of networking, you could get access to them and you could get the funding you deserve in order to grow your business. So depending on your area of focus, depending on what you want to do, if you want to go corporate, definitely that's more dependent on your skill. That's how much you could show that you know Java, how much you could show that you know Node, how much you could show that you know C# or anything. Understand? Compared to if you want to go in a startup route, it's more like, what can you do with the skill you have, what problem can you solve, and how can you solve it? Thank you.
That's pretty much very well summarized by Lucky. However, I would like to add a couple of things. So whenever you put some projects on your resume, what I personally feel is that they should, like majority of the projects should reflect your technical strengths, right? So what I used to do is, because I did not have any prior experience, I used to create projects which would mainly, take a bit of everything, be it full stack projects, just front-end applications, be be it static websites, core backend applications, right? So that is, you can always create a mix of projects wherein some of them are purely focused on your technical strengths, and some projects you can work on open source, right? That is one of the easiest way to get industry level experience, to work on open source projects. GitHub is one of the easiest platforms to get into open source projects. Just if you guys are not aware what open source is, it's basically doing industry level live projects but open to public, right? So you could always take up an issue. Just go home today, search open source projects on GitHub. What you will see is there are multiple issues listed on related to that project, right? So you would always take up an issue, you get the repository manager to assign it to you, you work on that issue, you create a PR request, you ask them to review it. If it's a good review, then they merge it to their live project, right? And then you could use that as your experience in your resume, that you contributed to this project, and this is the PR request that was merged into the live project, right? So again, open source is something that might actually align with the real world problems, as you say, and apart from that, there are always side projects that just show your technical strengths. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Anybody else? Okay. All right, awesome. Simil, I need your favor. I need some technical help, so come here. I'll let you ask the question, and then Simil will fix this issue, and then he'll ask the question. You need the mic. And then I'd like to invite Professor Biju Mishra, of course.
Usually, is it right? So, I know you said that you firstly worked as a software developer and then you go to business analysis area. Firstly, I know that it's quite different areas, and did you study here ITS? Right, so firstly, why did you get to another area? Like, didn't you like software development? And how this transition work? Because it's quite quickly you were there, so I'm just interested about that.
That's a very good question, and actually that's something that I faced. It was difficult. I studied ITS because my father wanted me to. I didn't have an option, and he wanted me to code, which was fine. I did that, and I got a job in it as well, but I did not like it. I was suffering every day, and I just didn't want to be there. And it was 2 months at BMO. I worked with Lucky, we were together, and it was 2 months at BMO, but I still kept applying. Like, I still was very active on LinkedIn. I did my job, of course, at BMO, but I kept looking at TD. And when I attended this women hackathon, I gave 3 interviews for business analyst, 2 at TD and 1 was at RBC. So the TD one, they had this only question that, why the switch from development to business analyst? Why do you want to do it? And it's just been 2 months. I was truthful. I did not lie, I did not pretend, I did not say anything that I didn't want to. I just said that I know I've been doing this, and it's not bringing the best in me, and I know as a business analyst, I can bring the best in the company and in myself. And it's just how your skills matter. Of course, my skills wouldn't be much of a coder, but I know I would do good as a business analyst. So you know what you want to do. Like, it's just in there. You just have to figure it out. And I was sure that I want to document, I want to do analysis, I want to network. And with coding, of course, that can happen, but it's not much of that role. And I was not good of a coder. So I think my skills of being a good like my documents were good. I showed it to them as well while the interview. Like, I love to document, I love to write, and I think my analytics skills is also very good. So I think, yeah, I was just truthful. And please, your resume and whatever you do in college, like your projects or your volunteer activities, all of that will make a difference. Like I had zero experience as a business analyst or as a developer, but still I was able to make it. So again, whatever you learn in this ITS program, it's gonna be very helpful. And please listen to Meena ma'am. I did get my job and my interviews with whatever tips her and Payal ma'am also told me. So yes, she's right here. The biggest mentor, you have to listen to her. That's how I got it. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Hi everyone, this is Simon.
Someone give me the mic.
Okay. Hi everyone, this is Simo. Nice to meet you all, and thank you so much everyone for your amazing advice. It really means a lot. So my question is, whenever you're applying for a job, you get called for an interview, whichever round. Suppose you get rejected, right? Then what I've done in the past is I reached out to the recruiter or the interviewer and asked them like, okay, can you please tell me like what I could have done better? And they're like very happy and give their honest advice. But what happens when you get rejected by the ATS? Who do you reach out to? So that's my question. So what do you, the ATS, what do you do in that case?
So I think Kushpi already answered that earlier. Because when you apply, you don't just apply and forget you applied. You apply and reach out to people who are in charge of the application. So after applying, you go to LinkedIn, like she said, type into LinkedIn recruiters, depending on your role, which I got to find out in a hard way. So if you're applying for like a new grad role in that space, then you look for early talent recruiters. Understand? So you say early talent recruiters BMO or early talent recruiters RBC, early talent recruiter Inter. You see different names up there. Like she said, 20, right? The first 20 on the list, you connect with them, you send them, my name is Lucky, I applied to this particular role, here's the job ID. I have skills specialized in this and that. I would really love your help with my application. So what that does is, most time the highest response you receive is, I'm not the one hiring from this job, or like, this is not me or stuff. And what I usually respond back is, that's fine, that's okay. Can you please now introduce me or refer me to the main person hiring for this job? And I did this particular thing when I was applying for during my internship time early last year. So what happened was, I saw a role at Nokia. I applied to the particular role, same process. But I didn't check the country the recruiter was from. I connected with the recruiter in Poland all the way. And I was like, I applied to this job, can you please? Like, yo, I'm in Poland all the way, you're in Canada. Like, oh, sorry, however, can you please introduce me to the person in charge of recruitment, internship recruitment in Canada? And she went to the person and told her there's this particular person. The person in charge reached out to me, sent a message saying, oh, this person told me that you applied to this particular position, this and that. So that's what happens when you don't just wait for ATS to scan or stuff, because they can easily see your application even when ATS fails. So the whole point of you reaching out is to get your resume right in front of them. You understand? It might be the perfect one, it might not be the perfect one, but the fact that they can see your skills and they can decide, oh, is worthy enough to move to the internship stage, interview stage, or no, he's not worthy enough to move there. So just make sure to reach out. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ruben. Thanks for your all tips, that will help us a lot. But I want to ask, like, some of you have applied for so many applications and went to so many networking events. Sometimes you got rejected and all. So I want to ask, like, what things we have to avoid, because you have applied for so many applications, you change so many, change maybe so many resumes, you change so many techniques that you are doing. So what things we can avoid, that will help us to put 2-4 months future, ahead of the future and ahead of the competition, that we think,
Okay, good question. Well, first of all, a very common mistake I would say that applicants do is that they keep on changing their resume quite often, right? So let's say you apply for 10 jobs today and you don't see any response, or maybe you see rejections from them, right? So it is not always that your resume is not going through, or your resume is not good enough. So let the algorithm at least push your resume for at least 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? Because I've seen a lot of times that people keep on changing either the format of resume, or they keep on changing their, I would say, content from the resume itself, and then they feel as if we are putting in so much effort and we are still not getting through, right? So very first thing is to stick to a resume, okay? I'm sure Professor has already given you out the best formats that there are in the market. I guess I applied with the 2-page format from the Career Connection course. Lucky applied with the 1-page format. So like we have just followed what she has put up, and she knows what she's doing, right? So I would suggest just listen to her and stick with one particular format, one particular resume, and see if that gets you some replies. Even if it gets you rejections, I would say just refine some of the content from the resume. Don't change it up, or don't change the format completely, and just keep on applying. That's the only thing there is to resumes, right? Yeah.
Just one more thing, like I was applying for a developer position, so mostly the skill sets are same, right? But what I did, like by the job description, we can see that what particular skills they are looking for. So you can like you can put a bold that specific skills, so that by that way they can know that they are looking for that specific skills and that you have that skills in your resume. So that's the best thing that Meena told us. That that's all. Thank you.
Nothing new, right? You all have heard all of this before, right? But knowing and hearing and not taking action is not going to help, right?
Second interview for trying to get in the industry, I messed up in the interview, and I realized like where my shortcomings were. So from your guys' experience, what can you say for me to go to for learning? And Mr. Bijou, this question is for you as well. How do you find a group of people dedicated towards one idea? For example, with your group, did you have a group of friends or colleagues that you had a relationship with outside of school? Like, were you guys hanging out together? Did you guys have like a closer friendship? Yeah, those are my questions. So, yeah, I'll start with Pen first. Yeah.
Right, so before I get into it, I would like to ask you a question, like which sources have you already gotten into for data structures?
For data structures, LeetCode is one of them, but I was more focused on developing my skills in the Learn stack. So I was actually studying textbooks directly and actually making projects on the side. But I was so focused on that and not really gearing my attention towards the technical questions that I asked from a data structures and algorithms. And the only resource I found so far was
So yes, of course, LeetCode is one of the most used resource, I would say, and of course it has the best questions out there. However, it depends on which companies and which positions you are applying to, right? So for example, if you are applying to an entry-level position at a non-bank company, right? Like it does not have to be Amazon, Google, Meta's, those Ivy League companies, right? So if you are applying to such companies, I would say LeetCode would be something that would actually take up a lot of your time, and you would end up in a black hole and not get out of it at the end of the day, right? Because I've been there, I know that. So rather I would suggest there are other resources like HackerRank. That's one of very good resources, I would say. HackerRank. Yeah. Another good website is CodeChef. Yeah, CODECHEF, CodeChef. These two I personally recommend to everyone who is applying to entry-level positions, or I would say who is targeting easy to medium-level questions, right? Because even the easy read code questions are sometimes way difficult, right? So, and especially if you're not really targeting such companies, I personally do not suggest to put in that much amount of time into DSA in lead code specifically. Rather go, especially I think HackerRank has this interview kit, I assume, and it has various timelines like 3 weeks preparation, 1 month preparation. So that would really help you with all the types of questions that usually are asked in technical interviews. And if you really want to get into like learning how to solve DSA questions, there are, of course, Free Code Camp is a website which has a good course, and they also have a YouTube channel wherein they explain actually what the problem is, how you solve it, right? And like all of this is, I would say, a second step. The first step for you is to determine which language you want to solve the question in, right? Because a lot of people get confused that okay, if I solve a particular problem, let's say in Python, then I will have to master that language and work with Python forever, right? But that is not the case. For data structures, yes, Python is the best language you can do solve DSA questions in, because it is, again, very easy to use, no syntax, no barriers, right? So Python is easiest. However, again, it depends from person to person. If you are someone who is really very comfortable with JavaScript, then you have to put in a bit more effort, but you can get away with that as well. Right? So I would suggest get a hold of which language you want to solve the questions in, and then get into resources as per your job preferences. Thank you.
Interview questions, because many times people give the reviews on the Glassdoor about which interview questions are commonly asked by that particular company. And if you are getting an interview, the best thing is you can divert the interviewer towards your strength. As you said that you are developing some projects, definitely you know your project better than the interviewer, right? So you need to sell your project. You divert the interviewer towards the strongest point of your project, because you know that particular thing, and though definitely the person are a technical person, so he or she wants to dig deeper into the code or that specific features, and that would be really helpful, because there's only 40 or 50 minutes interview. If you divert the interviewer to like most of the time towards your strength, then it's more chances to get a job and clear the technical interview. Yeah, thank you.
So, in terms of data structures, Sachin has rightly said it, not all companies require you to do HackerRank questions, and I've experienced it with through different interviews. Most companies that actually require you, they are either startup companies, or you're applying to, like I said, Google, Amazon, those who are extremely competitive. But one thing as a developer is you need to know that your skill is versatile and you can survive in any industry you choose to go into. If you choose to go into the healthcare sector, they are busy solving other problems than asking you to do some binary research or anything. You understand? So depending on the industry you're looking into, if it is fully tech focused or a product focused industry, then you need to worry about your DSA, your algorithms and stuff. But if it is a service-based industry like hospitality, like healthcare, like banking, finance and others, they don't worry about how fast per se their app is or like how this and that. You understand? So they don't necessarily ask you DSA questions. You understand? But in order to study, some of the materials I used while preparing was, like you said, on YouTube, Free Code Camp. I think they have like a 5 hours or 11 some massive hours of videos for you to watch. And aside from that, you have programming with Mosh. Yeah, so he simplifies a lot of things like that. And also, I think Google also has like a free Audacity course that you can also do. Likewise with Coursera and stuff like that. So there are several places to search for resources. There are several things to learn. You just need to know what to spend your energy on. You understand? If you are focusing on a product-based industry, like if you are applying to Amazon, they have a product, they have an app where they deal with a lot of customers. Definitely they need to optimize their stuff like that. But if you are dealing with a lot of service-based industry, they don't care as much with things like that. You understand? So figure that out and know what to focus your energy on. Thank you.
So answering your question is, it depends. It depends. I think if you're open to possibilities, then you don't all have to be friends. Right? And we weren't. Two of us were, but the third partner wasn't. We just met along the way, and we thought it'd be cool to kind of work together. So, but that comes from knowing yourself a little bit and kind of what you like, the types of people you like to work with, and the people you don't like to work with, which is important in a career too. As you progress, it's very important to know who you like and who you don't like, and how you like to work and who you don't like to work. That's usually how you find it. But if your intention is there that you want to do something, and you want to do something different, then just keep your horizons open. You all don't have to be friends. The other one, just on the coding, as I'm thinking about, one of the biggest areas of improvement in the industry is around design. And design, software design there's an elegance to software design. Because you live in a global economy, and coding can become a commodity. So learn about design, because that's something that's very difficult to give away. And different people will design software differently. Just the way analysis happens differently for different people, because they see the world in a different way. But there's an elegance to software design that is core and fundamental to products out there, which is difficult to give away, because it's kind of your brain trust. So what I'd say is, in addition to learning coding and stuff, also learn about design and how you design good software and what that means and what does it feel like. That's like promising long-term career.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everybody. I'm going to close here because I know that everybody has a lot of questions and we want to give some time for networking. Okay? So I've put 3 tips at a networking event. This is your opportunity to make sure that you follow these 3 tips right now. Okay? So for a group photo, can I ask everybody to come down? And then we can start with networking.